Parliament to be dissolved if 22A is not passed. Namal on the presidential candidate. SJB, NPP in all-out attacks against government.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Parliament to be dissolved if 22A is not passed. Some ask President Ranil Wickremesinghe mockingly if he is left with any more trump cards to get the presidential polls put off. Even critics acknowledge him for his postponement tactics. 2 fundamental rights petitions were filed for that purpose by 2 lawyers, both of which were subsequently dismissed with costs. Professor G.L. Peiris and other opposition legal luminaries say Ranil is now using a 22nd Amendment to get to his goal. Justice Minister Wijayadasa Rajapaksa, also a presidency hopeful, on July 18th said he instructed his secretary to defer issuing the Gazette for the 22nd Amendment. But the following day saw the notification being made public on Ranil's order. Wijayadasa told Lanka that he honestly thought about the people when he wanted a delay in the 22nd Amendment Gazette to prevent fears of election postponement among them. Those who disagree with him will have to admit the consequences, he also says. SLPP's Nalaka Godahewa, now with the SJB, dares the government to get the constitutional amendment passed in Parliament. Mahindananda, Prasanna and others claim they can. Opposition lawmaker Gamini Walaboda says Parliament is likely to be dissolved on the same night if the amendment is not supported by the SLPP when it is tabled before the House next week. This will be quite a challenge for Ranil in the backdrop of Namal and his men warning him of fielding an own candidate, Walaboda adds. Some critics say the opposition is creating bogies over the matter. Even if Parliament is dissolved, it is the presidential polls that will be held first, they say. Former District Secretary for Colombo, Ratnapura and Ampara Sunil Kanagara urges politicians to prepare for the election without misleading the people. Meanwhile, Premier Dinesh Gunawardena's son Yadamini asks Ranil to get the amendment passed immediately to confirm the president's term as 5 years. He was speaking at a meeting at Sambuddhathwa Jayanthi recently. For his part, Election Chief Saman Ratnayake says there are no hurdles against announcing the presidential polls. Even Ranil assured in Gale that there should be no undue fears about constitutional amendments, since he is committed to safeguarding democracy. Kanangara agrees with many that the election could likely take place on 21st September. With the Election Commission expected to announce the polls next week, politicians should do better by preparing for it. There will be no turning back. Namal on the presidential candidate. Namal shared a piece of news via his close associate Damitha Wickremesinghe, explaining the shape of their candidate. That candidate should not sell the country's resources and be able to repay debts, says the SLPP national organiser. Ranil, Damika, himself or any other is yet to inform the party in writing about contesting, he says. Presently, the party is in talks with several contenders, adds Namal. Does that mean Damika Pereira will be shown the door? According to sources, Namal wants Ranil to lose at the election. If Sajith wins, he intends to become the opposition leader, so he is using his men to attack pro-Ranil alliances. His advisor, Iranda Ginigai, too, adds fuel to the fire, saying alliances have been a failure. Such cannot ensure victory, and even if victory happens, alliances don't last long, he said, adding that people should learn a lesson from the past, give power to a single party and allow development under one policy. Namal and those who love the party worked hard, and the party has risen up again. So everybody is coming up with alliances now. That cannot be allowed, he says sternly. Notwithstanding such criticism, several alliances are taking shape in Ranil's support. Behind one of them are the SLPP's Prasanna Rantunga, Mahindananda Aluthgamagai, Kanchana Wijasekara, Shehan Semasinghe, Dailum Amunugama, Lohan Ratwate and Pramita Tenakun. Another is already there by SLFP's Nimal Siripala faction, together with Nimal Lanza and Anura Yapa. They will support Ranil separately, irrespective of whether he gets support from the Rajapaksas or not. For that, a MOU is expected to be signed. Lanza says his new alliance will soon strike a deal with the SLFP under the UPFA banner, with talks now finalised. They will contest the general election under that alliance as well. In the meantime, its operations leader, Yapa, met national newspaper editors at JIC Hilton last Wednesday. Lanza, Nalin Fernando and Sudath Manjula too attended. When one asked as to why Ranil is yet to announce his candidacy, Lanza said with a smile that he will do it soon enough. Responding to a question about their alliance, he said they would ally under the chair symbol shortly. In the UNP, its leaders fight against each other with no resemblance of unity. They also strike deals purportedly to collect funds for the election campaign, but they have amassed enough to last several generations. Ranil told some of his top UNP men that he can win the presidential election. Prasanna, Mahindananda, Lanza, Kanchana will win at the general election in January. But I doubt it if anyone from the UNP can enter parliament, he said. That is true. Other parties work hard on his behalf, but the UNP does not seem to do so as yet. SJB, NPP, in all-out attacks against government. Some in the government are alarmed by the social media attacks against them by the SJB and the NPP. Some months ago, the National People's Power led a campaign on social media. SM Marikar and Mujibur Rahman did likewise to up their personal images, with Sajith not given much attention. Now Sajith's top advisor Lakshman Fonseka has formed a social media unit under Chaminda Ediriwikrama. They are now attacking both the government and the NPP. Its office has more than 100 youths as a comment army. A foreign company, too, has been chosen for the campaign. Recently, Lanza and the lot had been having coffee at the Shangri-La lobby when the talk about AKD's YouTube channel reaching 100,000 subscribers came up. Duminda Disanayake said the reason is now known for that increase, and pressed by Priyankara Jayaratne, said the likes are coming from pages of those who live overseas. Minister Nalin Fernando revealed that an immense sum is being spent on it. Lanza said lies don't last long, and that it could be seen when the election result comes. Yapa told them not to take it lightly, with the president getting a recent intelligence report that AKD has reached the youths via social media. Siripala Amarasinghe wanted to know the specifics. Yapa explained that AKD shares around 2,500 posts a week, followed by 2,000 posts by Sajith. But for the government it does not exceed 1,000 posts, he said. AKD gets around 70,000 likes, while it is 50,000 for Sajith. For the president, it is around 20,000. When inquired about Namal, he said the SLPP national organiser was faring poorly, with many of his men now with the SJB. Anyway, they were quite impressed by the social media statistics of the SJB and the NPP. A former corporation chairman inquired as to who is behind Ranil's social media campaign. An MP said he thought it was given to Minister Harin Fernando. Another said he has promised to bring the president to the top within a week or two. So Ranil quietly carries on with his campaign. Also, he has been able to draw the country's attention by what he does. The opposition lends him good support. He only has to give a topic, and the opposition runs around with it in circles. This is a game executed with experience. So, opposition contenders stand to find it harder as time goes by. That's it for today.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.